It's my birthday and I'm giving you guys the present. Funny how that works, ain't it? Let's not get caught up with the theatrics though. I'm a year older and I'm a year wiser. I need to start challenging myself with more complex media, with darker themes in it. I can't keep watching baby shows and playing baby video games. I need to grow up. So naturally, when you're trying to be mature and you get recommended a show called Murder Drones, come on. It's a no-brainer. But I might not be a year wiser after all. I gotta be honest, watching this show, I feel dumb as bricks. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good and everybody agrees it's good, but I feel like a criticism that never gets brought up is that it's really hard to follow. Like, I just turned 19, I shouldn't feel senile trying to watch your show, asking myself, wait, where are we going? What's that? If we find that, how does that affect the plot? Wait, why do we want this? I feel like I'm going crazy. And it's not just the mystery aspect either. It's not like I'm scratching my head trying to figure out the next step with everyone else. I feel like there's parts that I'm missing that I should already know, that the story acts like I should already know, and I simply am just not clear on them. Like, I feel like some things aren't conveyed well. And I guess this is the part of the video where I put my money where my mouth is and I prove it. Well, I'm a little out of practice, but if I were to just pick a random episode, let's start with... Alright, let's not lose focus. This is about me and my birthday, and I'm being given the choice between admitting that I'm wrong or going on a long-winded tirade. If you think I'm not picking the second option, you gotta be new around here. And if you are new around here, I feel it pertinent to specify, I don't hate murder drones, and I don't even really think this is that big of a flaw. I'm usually more focused on the immediate character actions and current location than the overarching plot, which is why I didn't even really notice what I'm about to tell you until after I watched the episode all the way through for like 3 times, you know? Alright, so let me break it down for you. In episode 3, The Promoting, our anti-hero doll wants to kill our evil protagonist V, and her plan to do so goes as follows. First, she kills the entirety of the prom court for the upcoming high school prom, then she gets Lizzie to slowly befriend V, gaining her trust so she can be invited to the prom, win prom queen because there's no one else left, then have a trap sprung on her and she dies and doll wins. Simple, right? Except for the parts where it doesn't make sense. Let me break that down for you. Now, this might be a no-brainer to some of you, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that Doll knew that V's vanity would make her take center stage. Doesn't that mean that the entire plan hinged on the worker drones accepting V as prom queen? No one was like, hey, I want to be prom queen. Or, hey, I think Lizzie should be prom queen. Or, hey, we should kill that disassembly drone, right? Or I don't know, maybe just start running away in a mass panic or something. That seems the most likely to me. This in and of itself is not that big of an issue, but it made me realize a few more things. Like, why did we wait until now to trap her? Lizzie's been hanging out with her for how long, and we've just been letting her live? We could have made an anvil fall on her head here. Or put spikes in the snowman. Or put spikes in that nerd. I mean, like, we can do that, right? The doll has the power of the absolute solver, which basically allows her to just edit the world around her. Speaking of the absolute solver, why even set a trap? We're not Fred Jones, just jump out and kill her. Oh, her and Lizzie are hanging out, just ooga booga booga stab stab stab, bro. We killed the 5 prom queen candidates just fine. And presumably also the 5 prom king candidates. We don't really hear about those. Man, forget a knife, blow her head up, bro. We know you can. I don't want to hear anyone tell me that V wins a fight against Doll. She literally almost dies this episode. Okay, let's assume that V can beat Doll in a fight. Presumably we've been sneaking her out of the murder drone lair in the middle of the night. Or maybe day. I think the murder drones are nocturnal, they're vampires, so I mean. The point is, we have to be sneaking her out because V is supposed to be on lockdown under N's watch. So we gotta be getting her out while N's asleep, right? Which means she'd also be tired by the time we get there. Let's just kill her in her sleep instead of befriending her for 4 or so months. And for good measure, kill N too. I mean, we know that Doll doesn't really like the murder drones all too much. I mean, come on, that's a double kill. On the subject of people we should have killed, the fact that Uzi survived is crazy. So before the prom, Lizzie and Doll kidnap Uzi because she also has the absolute solver and is the biggest threat to their plan. The more astute viewers may have noticed that I made that entire thing up. There's actually no real reason for Uzi to be here, bro. Why is she here? Like, her dad asked us to take her to the prom, so we bring her back to our place with all the incriminating evidence in it? Okay, now we have to kill her, right? I'm sure when the investigation starts for the disappearance of superstar Con Dorman's daughter, you're going to be the first place they look, but whatever. Just so long as she doesn't escape, oh my god, you're fumbling. I don't even know if we care if we get caught. I mean, we have the absolute solver, but we also destroyed a security camera at the beginning of the episode. And we tried to kill V in front of literally everybody? we kill a few civilians there too. I mean, we're already down 5 people. We act with the bravado of someone who's all powerful, but we're not killing any of our enemies. Like, what's going on here? And then after this, Dahl goes back to a life of hiding in the shadows and setting traps. A tragic day for anyone whose favorite character was Dahl. But I'm just being dramatic. She's still cool. So, what effect does this have on the viewer? Well, I mean, I remember when I was watching it, I was just kind of confused. Each step seemed to try to lead into the next, but it kind of just didn't until we were at the big final showdown, and I was just too distracted by how cool that was to really care, but, I was still confused. I feel like it's a pretty good word to describe Murder Drone's storytelling. Confusing. A lot of show don't tell until I'm not being told anything and I don't know what I'm being shown. But how do we differentiate between the normal mystery confusion and the wait, what's going on confusion? If you don't want to take my word for it, look at any reaction video ever. And take note every time they say something demonstrably wrong but not completely unreasonable. Like, they just come to a straight up false conclusion that makes sense based on what they're seeing. And watch as that misinformation misinforms how they view future events. Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm really desperate to not sound like I'm grasping at straws, so we're gonna turn this into a double feature lightning round. Let's go, episode 5! We start off by finally getting an explanation on zombie drones, which were just name dropped last episode and not elaborated on. That was crazy. What's happening in the shot? This episode takes place in the past where all the murder drones are worker drones and some of the worker drones are not working drones. And the world is telling N to go into the basement. These two issues brought up at the same time are not related. Enter Sin, who's been completely taken over by the Absolute Solver, and no one seems to care. I mean, it's like she's lost most of her motor functions and everyone's just like, that's our Sin. Was she always like that? Did she always sound like that? Why does the Absolute Solver have her voice? Unless she is the Absolute Solver, which is a little bit incongruent with the explanation we were given in episode 2, but whatever. I guess that's a little disingenuous because it's very clear that no one besides N likes Sin, but that just makes it weirder when Tessa's mom demands that all of Tessa's drones be thrown out. There's clearly a difference between the normal ones and Sin. There are literally drones working in the mansion. Like, what's the problem? I guess it's because they were rescued from the dumpster or something, but they're like normal now, so it feels like the scene was just thrown in to establish that Tessa's mom is mean. What was I supposed to think reading this sentence for the first time? I mean, it gets explained not too long from now, but it felt so random. I was just sitting there stumped, like staring at it, like what? The scene of Tessa's aching wrist goes by way too quickly, and I don't think many people notice it, and even if you did, it's framed like she's allergic to lightning. And gets thrown out to die, but then Uzi interferes from the future, so now everything that takes place after this is dubiously canon, thanks a lot. We're actually viewing this episode through N and V's memories, because all the way back in episode 1, we mentioned about the murder drones being sent to Copper 9 with reformatted memories, and now it's killing them? Or something. We at least know that we're in danger of losing these memories, and the only way to stop that from happening is going into the basement. I don't know how Uzi knows that. Sin does this and decides to kill everybody at the gala for reasons I cannot understand. It's not like she's fed up with the bullying, she clearly doesn't care. What is happening in the shot? And when did it happen? It's like Sin was one of those memes where it's like, well, you fall asleep first at the sleepover and then they reformat your bone structure. Like, why did she do this? We need to go get the key to the basement from Jay, and then V attacks us under the control of the Absolute Solver, who clearly does not want us in the basement. But she tries to drag us down into the basement anyway, and also she needs us down there because she's making the murder drones! All 3 of which are dead. How are we seeing this memory? None of them remember it. Dahl shows up and finally stands 10 toes down on some business. But aren't we like all on the same team? We're all trying to solve the same mystery. I don't even... Why are they fighting? What's her motivation? I don't even know what her motivation is for like the next episode. I'm so lost. The episode literally ends with all of us working together. We all understand we're on the same side, and Dahl betrays us again anyway in the next episode. Like, what's happening here? I just gave you a whole second episode chat for free, and I'm still not pluralizing the title. I'm literally a saint. I wish I had something more concrete to end it off with. I mean, I guess I could, rehash the disclaimer. I think episode 3 is my favorite episode. I love Murder Drones. Episode 5 is probably top 3 episodes. I don't even really see this as much of a problem, really. Things just kind of happen in the show, but as long as the things that are happening are cool, I don't really care, bro. We could find a unicorn in episode 7, and as long as Liam Vickers is writing it, I'm going to be watching. I just want somebody to agree with me, because no one ever says this. It's so weird. Things just kind of happen and no one points it out. I think the worst part is it's completely possible I just missed 7 things in a row and the story makes complete sense and somebody in the comments is gonna rip me a new one for being stupid. Well, you know what I say to that? I think anyone who disagrees with me is wrong and stupid and deserves to gouge their eyes out because they shouldn't be able to look at cartoons on the internet anymore. Feels good to be back, by the way.